As I was sitting here trying to figure out how to say this video, I realized that it was just going to come off as a bitch fest. And honestly, I don't think that's such a horrible thing, but I got to say something with all sincerity. The fact that Redfall is coming out at a sub 60 frame per second experience on a $500 premium console that touts itself as the world's most powerful console is absolutely unsatisfactory. Absolutely. There's absolutely no way to cut it. And I am ultra biased towards Arkane Studio. They are my favorite game studio. I loved Arc Fatalis. I loved Deathloop. I don't think a lot of people love Deathloop the way I did. I actually played Prey Moon Crash for a very, very long time. And it was fun. And I loved Prey. And I love the idea of Dishonored in the world building and the level design. The fact that the levels tell a story in an Arkane game is unlike anything I've ever experienced. I could even tell that Arkane had inputs into Wolfenstein because you could tell the way the levels were intricate in a really dopey corridor shooter. They injected some flavor and feeling. You have this mechanic, you go this way. You have this power-up, you go this way. There were interweaving levels. Think of how cool it was in Dishonored when you took a path and you got to the main boss by going a totally different way than your friends. So much so that they built a whole game experience around using very basic functions like blink only or even blink off, and still people being able to play without being detected. That was awesome. It spawned a whole genre of the way people play and think about and design levels. And for that reason, I will always love Arkane Studio for the great memories they gave me. And I can't wait for Redfall because I think they learned their lesson on Deathloop. I think they made a better game. You have that rich open world universe that we need. You have a lot of fun exploration. You have some gunplay. And I think it's going to be a home run. I'm going to play it on PC, but I really wanted to play it on my Xbox Series X because I wanted to play it in HDR. And I wanted that option to be able to play between 30 frames a second and 60 frames a second. And hey, maybe even 120 frames a second. If Xbox's premier studios, these guys, keep in mind, wear Microsoft badges on their chest. They're owned by Bethesda, who is now part of Microsoft. They're in the club. You're telling me nobody within Arkane, Microsoft, or Bethesda can figure out how to toggle a game to lower the settings so that you can get a 60 frame per second experience on a console? I do it every day on my PC. I adjust settings, whether it's tessellation or shadow quality or draw distance or particles, just to name a few. And guess what? I can get exactly the frame rate I want. Do I want to play a game at 120 frames a second? It might lower my draw distance. That's fine. If I want to play it in 4K with ray tracing enabled and I'm going to get a lower frame rate per second, that's fine. These are very minute, very rapid changes that take seconds for a novice PC gamer to do. So tell me how Microsoft, tell me how Bethesda, tell me how Arkane cannot or will not do this. Why? When you take options away from gamers, you're going to piss off gamers. I'm covered. I have a badass PC. I don't really necessarily need to play this on console. I want to. The reason I am mad is because I shouldn't have to make choices like this. And if Microsoft, a company that I respect, and I've been a Game Pass member for a very, very long time, by the way, and I love Halo, and I want to see Microsoft be competitive because it will push Nintendo, and it will push PC, and it will push Sony to be even better than they are now. I want all these things to happen because I want Microsoft to succeed. Microsoft, you will not succeed if you are releasing games at 30 frames a second in 2023 on $500 hardware. You won't. I'm telling you that right now. So if you want to chalk up another L, which let's face it, you've had quite a few these days. If you want to chalk up another L, then by all means, release the game at 30 frames per second. Watch people not want to play it. Watch that initial hype burn out and watch people move on to the next big game that comes out right around the corner. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. And I kept waiting for Arkane Studios to announce, hey, we're going to fix this. And they never did. And now it's Monday, and I got to do a video. So I'm going to do it on this because it sucks. Fix your shit. It's not that hard.